mission and its goals.
A man who, without his dedication, this conference would not have been possible.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the Secretary General of the Rotaract MUN 2017,
Mr. Maxton Scotland.
Esteemed guest speakers, Mr. Michel Jazar, Ms. Lena Shahayab, David Ian Muscat, members of the Rotary and Rotaract family, Dais, delegates, good evening, Salam Alaikum. I'm both pleased and honored to be standing before you here this evening in the capacity as your Secretary General. I am even more pleased that we have decided to bring the decision-making process to the Middle East. With over 1.6 billion youths on the planet today, if we want to foster inclusivity and collectivism, we must be willing to invite everyone to be part of the process, regardless of their culture, language, and beliefs. Lebanon is a country rich in culture and history. It is a country that has maintained a proud history in internationalism and integration since 1948, when it welcomed the first wave of refugees from the Arab-Israel conflict. Throughout its history, Lebanon and its people have always remained unified and resilient. With just over a quarter of its population belonging to refugees of some sort, the country and its people continues to foster integration and an atmosphere of peace and love. There's no better place for us to have started this journey than right here in Beirut, Lebanon. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start by reading an excerpt from the message that President Obama wrote for the 2015 Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty Review Conference in New York. And he says, "For over 45 years, the Non-Proliferation Treaty has embodied our shared vision of a world without nuclear weapons. There are no shortcuts to this endeavor, and each step must be carefully taken to ensure that the security of all is increased along the way. We have not yet received or achieved the ultimate goal enshrined in a treaty. On this, we all agree. But it is only by seeking common ground and reinforcing shared interest that we will succeed in realizing a world free of nuclear dangers." My friends, it was only 72 years ago the world was free of nuclear weapons. Then in a race for world domination between the United States of America and the Soviet Union and their allies, we are now confronted with one of the world's most dangerous arsenals. Today, 9 countries have more than 14,900 nuclear weapons altogether. This is a very scary number, you will agree. And considering that they are extremely dangerous, it poses an unparalleled threat to our very existence. And as a result of this, we need to act now. We must strive to move away from the rhetoric that nuclear weapons enhances a country's security. It may not happen in our lifetime, in the lifetime of our parents, but it certainly threatens the survival of mankind. This alone is the very reason why we should begin the conversation on disarmament efforts. People are at the center of sustainable development. This is the overarching goal of the United Nations 2030 Sustainable Development Goals Agenda, striving for a world where there is universal access to basic services that will benefit all. One Honorable J.B. Carlson reminded me that, and supported by research, this is the first time in the history of mankind that 5 generations are walking on Earth. Yet, access to economic, cultural, natural, political, and social resources is still a challenge for young people the world over. For example, in the socio-educational paradigm, access to water and basic food is limited and naturally impacts the development of young persons in some countries. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to addressing the very crucial issue of a nuclear-free world, as there are still countries that have refused to sign on to the Non-Proliferation Treaty. And with the increased rhetoric between two nuclear powerhouses, namely the United States of America and the DPRK, North Korea, it tells us that our generation cannot wait another day before standing together to commence that dialogue on nuclear disarmament and breaking that cycle of fear-mongering between nation-states. You may ask how we intend on achieving this when we are coming up against powerful nations, organizations that may have a vested interest in countries maintaining their nuclear arsenal. The answer is simple. Our generation have proven time and again that we do not respond to threats or bullying in any shape or form. We have shown that you don't need to be from a wealthy country or family to make change. This is our power. This is our weapon. Your very presence here this evening at this momentous occasion is testament to such. With one voice, one objective, we will continue to stand against these powerful forces and strongly encourage them to the table for mediation. Let me stress, and I believe I speak on behalf of my generation when I say that we absolutely condemn the threat or even the use of any nuclear weapons by any country and strongly urge the Security Council to act. I am encouraged by the now Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres, when he promised to the world that he will be the Secretary General of Action. This evening, we have delegates representing the continent of Asia, the Americas, Europe, and the Middle East. This is sufficient evidence to tell us that we are doing something right here at Rotaract Global Mother United Nations. Our efforts as a project to foster inclusivity, cohesion, and removing both cultural and language barriers is slowly but surely working. We believe in giving everyone an equal opportunity to come to the decision-making table, especially youths, and be represented. I want to especially thank the project manager, Ms. Victoria Shopping, and the team for their unwavering commitment to see this conference being realized, regardless of the security and logistical challenges that they would have encountered. Thank you very much. Now, over the coming days, we will have discussion on 3 committees: the Security Council, the United Nations Environment Programme, and the Economic and Social Council. Delegates will vote on 2 topics to address on each committee. They will look at the diversity that is present amongst each committee and then decide whether or not they are going to agree on passing a resolution which will then be presented to the United Nations and its entities. Now at this moment, esteemed guests, delegates, and guest speakers, please allow me to introduce you to my team. At this time, I would like to invite, as I say, behind every young man, there's a very powerful woman working in the background. And one can argue that it wasn't Ronald Reagan running the White House. So at this time, please allow me and afford me the opportunity to invite our Deputy Secretary General, Ms. Paula Sopayan. Paula has been my strength when I was weak, and she gave me hope, when I lost hope. But because of Paula, we are all here, and I want to extend that heartfelt thanks to Paula. And now, I'm going to introduce the different committees and the dais on each committee. So we're going to start with the Security Council. Now, the Security Council has elected to bring 2 topics up for discussion. In topic 1, rearming, the future of the strategic arms limitation talks, SALT. In topic B, the establishment of a nuclear-free zone in the Middle East. On the Security Council, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Director, Mr. Jose Zaro. We have the Chair, Ms. Scarlett Rayleigh. And the Vice Chair, General Mr. Alexander Saul. On the United Nations Environment Programme, they have elected to discuss building a nuclear-free world, moving away from nuclear energy and nuclear weapons. In topic B, animal, agriculture, and energy. And on this committee, we have the Director, Mr. Abraham White. And Abraham has joined us all the way from Ethiopia, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Chair, Ms. Francisca Al-Asma. And the Vice Chair, Ms. Khalia Khalia. On the ECOSOC, they have elected to discuss economic and social challenges in achieving Sustainable Development Goal 9, industrial development, with special focus on economically developing nations. In topic B, accountability and inclusion of nations towards a nuclear-free future in the era of renewable energy. And on this esteemed committee, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Chair, Mr. Shumo Basu. And the Vice Chair, Ms. Sabina Alexieva. So this is a team that will be leading the discussions over the coming days and who will be guiding you in developing resolutions, working paper, and be grading your position papers. So I'm hoping that you have submitted some really interesting position papers. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Rotary International shares a long-standing and very close relationship with the United Nations. This special relationship enables Rotaract Global Mother United Nations to be able to share all past resolutions with the various UN entities. This means that whatever is discussed here in the coming days should and must not be treated merely as an exercise, but as an opportunity for you to engage on the topic and ensure that your voice is heard at the most senior level of the United Nations and Rotary International. There has never been a more important time than 2017 for the world's youth to have their say on global issues, especially on this key topic of strategic importance. Throughout my career, I have always emphasized the importance of the United Nations to international politics. I firmly believe that with the relaunch of the Millennium Development Goals to sustainable, along with the continuing debates around armed conflict, gender equality, and the rise in nuclear activities, my choice of committees will enable you delegates to debate these vital issues and, crucially, do so in a way which has an impact on the UN itself. I am especially delighted to announce the establishment of a crisis committee that will convey the results of the conference directly to the UN officials. You will agree with me that the UN faces significant challenges, and I strongly believe that the powerful voice of the united and informed young people is a critical element in identifying the solution of these challenges. I very much look forward to meeting all of you in your committees and look forward to reading the resolutions if they are passed. I encourage every one of us to do our part to ensure that this topic is addressed effectively to maximize impact. As you enjoy the rest of what this evening have in store, please remember that we all have a responsibility to create a sustainable world for our future and that of our children's future too. The official hashtag of the MUN is hashtag RGMUN 2017. Please do not use it sparingly. Use it on anything and everything that you post on social media. And also, I implore every one of you to familiarize yourself with the rules of procedures to make sure you can contribute effectively to the debates. I look forward to meeting and speaking with everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guest speakers, thank you.